Welcome to today's webinar, How to Boost Your Data Science Success Using Zepl and Snowflake. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Ken Ibrahim, Solutions Architect at Zepl, and I'm here with Louis Huard, our Senior Product Manager. We'll spend the next 30 minutes or so discussing the topic and doing a live demo. We'll open it up for Q&A at the end, so if you have any questions during the presentation, please submit them in the chat window. And with that, Louis, take it away.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, it wouldn't be a demo without a few hiccups. So first of all, thank you everyone for dialing in today. I'm really excited to be showcasing Zepl. Today on the agenda, first we're going to talk about who we are, Zepl. How long have we been around? What's our goals as a company? Then we're going to talk about the challenges that we see a lot of data science teams facing today. And finally, we're going to conclude in explaining what's an enterprise data science platform and how does that solve those challenges that you're encountering. Finally, I'm going to pass it back to Ken so that he can give us a little bit of demo showcasing all of these great Zepl features and how it's going to help you solve some of the challenges your data science team is facing. Finally, we're going to open up the line for questions in a Q&A summary. A little bit about Zepl. We have our roots in open source. In 2012, our co-founder, Moon-Soo Lee, created the Apache Zeppelin open source data science notebook. It's been a runaway success. We've had over 500,000 users sign up to use Apache Zeppelin from companies such as Apple, eBay, and Twitter, who are using it every day to solve their hardest problems. From this broad adoption, we started realizing that while the notebook was really great for the individual data scientists, we needed enterprise-grade features that helped make data science much more team sport, like collaboration and security around your most sensitive business data. So we built Zepl, an enterprise data science and analytics platform. Today, we have both SaaS and VPC versions of Zepl, and we've been partnering with AWS and most recently Snowflake. We're really excited to talk about our Snowflake partnership and help you see how we can help you get more out of your data in Snowflake today, and help you understand how, as an enterprise data science and analytics platform, we're going to help you solve some of the same challenges that your enterprise face with data warehousing that they're facing with data science today. So jumping into some of the challenges that teams see today. Larger enterprises can have 10, 20, 100, thousands of data scientists. Efficiency and productivity become really important. Unfortunately, today, teams don't scale well. Data scientists are a bit nomadic and typically get passed from one project to the next. There's no continuity. And there's this lack of sharing of best practices and insider knowledge in the company. Workflows are heavily siloed. All of this is done in an environment that's not secure and difficult to support and manage, even for the best and highest performing of technology teams. Finally, from an organizational perspective, it's really hard to allocate the right computing power and make sure everyone is consistent and aligned on software versions and empowering everyone to run analysis in a reproducible way. All of these kind of challenges are resulting in some pretty big inefficiencies that some of the big analysts have noted. Forrester notes only 22% of companies are seeing a significant return on their data science investment. Wall Street Journal comments, data scientists are spending 80% of their time on non-model related activities, such as infrastructure and project management. They're often one of the highest paid employees on your team. So what can we do to empower data science and data science teams to work better together? This isn't a problem that's unique to data science. And in fact, this is very similar to the problem that a lot of companies had with their data bases before adopting a data warehouse strategy and products such as Snowflake. You had these hyper-localized data stores that were scattered all over your companies and business units. This caused a lot of problems. By having data distributed across multiple systems, it was difficult to bring data together. Multiple systems, complex pipelines required specialized skills and resources to withdraw the most valuable data you needed to analyze And the cost of managing such a system was really expensive and required multiple copies of data just to get to the answers that you needed. These all kind of culminated in delays that forced both analysts to wait on data engineers and for business executives to wait on their data science teams to answer their problems. Today, your company probably has the same problem with your data science initiatives. Data science today is where software engineering was 25 years ago. But there's the added complexity of open source tools like Zeppelin, Jupyter, that are evolving rapidly, faster than your IT teams can keep up. If you have a team of 3 or 4 data scientists and analysts, that's not a huge problem. But when you start to get to 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 data scientists, all using open source tools, running locally on their computers, you have a really big problem that is very similar to what you used to experience with access to your databases. And data science teams are very siloed, and they're not able to share their results or reuse models that they've written before. This becomes costly, complex, and hard to manage. So ultimately, Zepl, as an enterprise data science platform, hopes to solve this by centralizing all of these assets in one simple platform. Your data science tools readily available for your entire team. The data science stack is expanding and continuing to get more complex. Zepl aims to be the glue that ties all these integration points together. Our platform works with multiple visual analytics platforms, data science languages to help you process and analyze information, machine learning libraries that help you organize the way you work through your big problems, access to lots of data sources, especially Snowflake, collaboration features that help break these siloed workflows and help get business stakeholders and data science team members actually talking and working together, all served in a cloud-native VPC or SaaS distribution model. For your entire team, data engineers, analysts, scientists, managers, and executive, everyone on one platform to work together. This enterprise data science model has a lot of advantages. The combination of robust tools for data exploration, features that support and simplify collaboration, security that manage control to accessing all of your notebooks and data sources, with a company behind you that you can contact for support, training, or help with your deployment. Very quickly, your team has access to multiple interpreters, able to slice and dice all your most critical business data in ways that feel natural to everyone on your team. Your team is communicating and talking and collaborating by sharing notebooks and across internally, but also with external stakeholders as well. More on this in just a minute. Finally, all of this collaboration and exploration is happening in a very secure environment where you as a business have the support you need to accomplish what you set out to do. So just a little bit more about how we would do collaboration. We've been talking a lot about the internal advantages that such a platform has, but actually this platform also makes it really easy for you to interact with your stakeholders that may exist at different offices. So when you assemble a team at HQ to solve a critical problem, you can actually invite your client team members or a fellow analyst team from New York to join your team and solve a problem together, all producing the analytical magic your executives are hoping to get. This is handled at the notebook level. Sharing notebooks across members of your teams with fine-grained access controls that really let you limit as much as you want all the permissions possible to accessing your most sensitive assets. It's also possible to link directly to any findings you make in a notebook by linking directly to paragraphs as you work through. And it's very simple to publish notebooks for external viewing so that these external stakeholders can just open the findings when you get to that aha moment. But don't take my word for it. Ken, why don't you actually take us into Zepl and show us how you can access Snowflake data and add insights from other data sources in a notebook and actually show us what one of these notebooks looks like.
Great, will do, Louis. So let's switch to where I have Zepl open here. So great. Today I'll be showing how we can access data from Snowflake for analysis and visualization. In this case, I'm going to work with some historical Tesla stock prices. I'll also demonstrate how we can use the popular language Python to fetch data from Twitter to see if we can find any correlation between Elon Musk's tweets and the stock movement. So here we are in Zepl, in the data exploration area of the platform. This is where we utilize and manage our notebooks. You can see that the most recently used notebooks are at the top, so we can quickly get back to work on the notebooks that we've been using recently. And then we also have an area at the bottom called Spaces. Spaces are just logical collections of notebooks and can be used to organize notebooks by project, operational focus, teams of users, and so on. I'll go ahead and dive into the My Notebook space here, which every user account starts with. Okay, so we're in here now, and as you can see, the My Notebook space comes with a number of starter notebooks to get you up and running with the system. We have, of course, a Welcome to Zepl notebook, as well as notebooks to get you going with machine learning libraries such as TensorFlow and distributed processing scenarios with Spark, for instance. We also have a tutorial covering the use of the many different types of visualizations that are available on the platform. And of course, we have a notebook demonstrating how we can connect to our Snowflake databases. Okay, I'm going to open this notebook here called Tesla Stock and Tweet Analysis. And I'll go ahead and I'll run this notebook. And now the notebook will start to evaluate. And we're going to go through and kind of show you what the different operations and things are that we're doing in the notebook. So one of the key features of our notebook that you can see is everything is organized in these paragraphs. And there may be a large number of you out there who are experienced with using notebooks. Some people might be new to it. But basically, our notebooks are organized into paragraphs that you can see here. And one of the key features of the notebook is the ability to use different programming languages in the different paragraphs, which offers a lot of flexibility with data processing. So at the top here and throughout the notebook, I'm using the Markdown language, which is very similar to HTML, to nicely format some explanatory text about what we're doing. So we like to say that the notebook tells a story about the data, and this is in part how we do that, often starting out with an introduction type paragraph and ending with a conclusion. This notebook demonstrates some of the common things data analysts and scientists do in their daily work. That includes, for instance, as outlined here, we collect the tools that are required for the work at hand. We load the data of interest and explore that data to do analyses, gain insights, make predictions, and so forth. Once those insights are gained, they're typically shared with interested stakeholders, often in the form of rich visualizations. And another key strength of our notebook is that they provide a basic collection of built-in charts and graphs that are commonly used, while also allowing for the use of a number of third-party libraries as well. So a lot of options for data visualization, making it easy to choose the one that's right for your data. So in this notebook, we're primarily using the Python programming language as it's a popular one in the field, and it's relatively easy to use even for more complex operations on your data. You can see here that we're importing the Python tools that we'll need for our work, and then next, we're going to make the connection to load our data from Snowflake. So you can see how I've organized that into these two different paragraphs here. To load the data from Snowflake, we're going to use one of our data source objects. In order to do that, I can open up this sidebar and show you the data sources I have available to me. And all the ones that are part of my organization in Zepl are all located here at the bottom. I've added the Snowflake object called sfdemo.db, which is connected to our demo database in Snowflake. You can see that up here. If I click on the data source and the settings icon, I can see the details about this data source. So here's the icon here. If I open that up, I've just opened it up here. It's comprised of two different sections. At the top is the credential management area, which is our keychain system. Let's see if we can get that out. This allows each user to access the data source, in this case Snowflake, by using their own Snowflake login, and it also replaces the need to expose those credentials in the text of the notebook. At the bottom is the settings area, which is where we define, in the case of Snowflake, which warehouse, database, and schema we want to utilize. So that's all encapsulated here in this data source. Moving back to the notebook, we'll end up loading our data by running a SQL select statement via the connector, much as you would in Snowflake's web interface. So with this one line of code here, we're actually connecting to the data source instance. And here's the execute statement with the SQL statement syntax that you're familiar with using Snowflake. So any Snowflake compliance SQL can be executed here. In this case, we actually return the results, and we're using a Python library called pandas to do the data analysis. So after loading the data, we can quickly check to make sure that it's available to us by plotting one of the columns using our built-in line chart, in this case, the closing stock price for Tesla. So again, within the notebook itself, I'm using SQL here as it's an easy way to select and visualize our data. This is yet another example of using multiple languages in the same notebook. So we had Python in the paragraphs above. Here we're using SQL. And here we can see with our built-in line chart, the historical stock closing price. So now we've confirmed that we've loaded the data and we've done a quick visualization of it with one of our built-in charts. You can also see that we can just view this as tabular data. We also have bar charts and a number of other built-in chart types. Okay, then just for the sake of show, we'll do a simple visualization of the opening versus closing value of the stock using a visualization tool called Seaborn. So you see that here, it's kind of a nice graph. This is a popular library which is used quite a lot in the field. So you can see that not only do we have our built-in visualizers that are quickly available to us, we can make use of a number of different charting and plotting libraries. Okay, moving on, we're going to use this ARIMA prediction model to do some time series prediction of future movement of the stock price, and then compare the predicted values to the actual ones in the next chart, which we created using yet another plotting library called matplotlib, and that's also quite a popular one as a charting tool in Python. All right, so now below that, we can actually see the chart here. At the end, we see this area in which we're comparing the demo data to, or the actual data to the predicted data. And here we're just focusing in on that region of the graph to make it easier to see how closely the predicted value matches the actual historic value. Okay, so moving on, that was some exploration of the data along with some predictive modeling of future stock price movement. Next, we thought it would be fun to see if we can see any correlation between the stock price movement and the popularity of tweets made by Mr. Elon Musk himself. So in order to do that, we need to access Elon's tweet history, which is easy to do using a Twitter Python API right here in the notebook. And once we install the API package, we can use it to access the tweets by specifying Elon as the Twitter user of interest. And then again, we'll use a plot to see that we've accessed the data we want. And indeed, we can see the number of likes of his tweets over the last year. We can see that in the graph here. So this is the data that we want to superimpose with the stock price to see what correlations there may be. Okay, so we'll go ahead and have run that below to see what the graph looks like. Okay, so here we go. And again, we're using the matplotlib plotting library. And this time we're creating a more complex chart that shows two separate data sets composited over the same time frame. If we look at the result, we can kind of see a general relationship, to a greater number of likes on a tweet to an increasing trend in the stock price. So we can kind of see that here Here, this is a much higher number of total likes, and we can see quite an increase and an extended increase over some amount of time. Of course, it's not a perfect match, but it allows us to draw some insight nonetheless. So we've come to a conclusion here. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we might have a nicely formatted paragraph at the end that kind of mentions that we've got some kind of a semblance of a correlation, but we would probably need to do some deeper analysis to see how closely that really ties together. Okay, but now that we have this visualized, what we really want to do is share this with some stakeholders. We can easily do this using the settings menu. So if I come over here on the menu for this particular paragraph, I'll go ahead and run a command called link this paragraph. This will produce this in its own page with its own unique URL. This can then be shared via email or Slack with the stakeholders, or it could be used to create a dashboard with other such results. Lastly, if you have data in Snowflake that gets updated regularly, perhaps some streaming data of some sort, and you want your insights and visualizations to update in lockstep, you can set the notebook to run on a schedule using the scheduler. And I'll just show that quickly here. So you can run the notebook at any interval you like, whether it's every hour or day or a week, and keep your stakeholders up to date with your results. So we have some nice little presets here. For instance, every day I could run it, but that's completely up to you as to the frequency you'd like to do that. Okay, and that kind of concludes what I wanted to show you in the product itself today. But Zepl offers a robust solution for data science teams with deep collaboration features and centralized and managed resources to run notebooks in a consistent and secure environment in the cloud. If you'd like to see a customized demo around your own use case, please click the Contact Us link, which you'll see momentarily as we head into the Q&A section of the presentation. And if you have any questions, don't forget to submit them in the chat window. So, Louis, that concludes the demo.
Great, thanks, Ken. I thought that was a really fun insight. I hear a lot in the media how every time Elon tweets, the price tends to go down, but it seems it was really easy to disprove that just with 2 quick charts. So
yeah, it's not necessarily every time he tweets, but again, if we look at the number of likes on that tweet, maybe those are positive ones that people are seeing an increased value in the stock.
I like it. I like it. So turning to some of the questions with the field. The first one I had come in through the chat window.
Yeah, let's have a look here. Okay, here it is. How can I try out Zepl?
Yeah, this might be the easiest question I answer all day. All you have to do to try out Zepl is go to Zepl.com and sign up for a free trial account. You'll have access to a fully functional version of Zepl. And once you're in, you have a one-click connection to start using all of your valuable Snowflake data in Zepl. So you can start finding insights right away.
Great. Let's see. Here's another one. Okay, this is a good one. How is Zepl priced?
Ooh, great question. This is something that's really scary for a lot of companies biting off, trying a new analytics platform. We're priced the same way Snowflake is priced, on a usage basis. So no matter how many users you have, you only pay for what you use. And so if you'd like to understand what this would look like around your specific use case, you can check the Contact Us on button on the screen window right now.
Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, you mentioned that Zepl is founded by the creators of the Zeppelin notebook. Our team uses Jupyter. Can I also use my Jupyter notebooks in Zepl?
Ooh, I like this one. So yes, actually we support both Zeppelin and Jupyter notebooks. It's really easy to import both into our platform. We invented the notebook, at least the most popular open source one available, but we're really, trying to move beyond that. Again, we're focused on providing that enterprise support that's available for an entire team. So yeah, no big preferences on our part. It's easy to import both Jupyter and Zeppelin notebooks.
Okay. Let's see. Here's a good one. What skills are needed to use Zepl?
Yeah, great question. Actually, because you can use so many different tools with Zepl, really, we envision Zepl being usable for everyone on your team, from the executive who maybe has almost no technical skills to your most hardcore data scientist who has who wants access to every tool under the sun. So Really, whatever skill level you and your team already have, we're a platform that's easy to migrate to. No new learning necessarily required.
Yep, good. Let's see, here's another one. I'm using Tableau to access my data on Snowflake. Why would I use Zepl?
Yeah, great. I like Tableau. Tableau is a great tool, and I think it really helps visualize things well. I actually have a lot of experience with it. You actually would use Zepl to kind of solve all of the harder analytical processing challenges that you have. So Tableau is really great at presenting data at the end of a conclusion of an analysis, but doing all of that exploratory analysis, explaining your thinking along the way, your journey as an analyst, is really complicated in a tool like Tableau. So you're actually able to use Zepl to augment the use of Tableau, but we do have a lot of users who start using Zepl who find that they actually don't need Tableau nearly as much as they think, because our visualizations are simple to get to and have similar kind of parameterization that Tableau does. So you're able to control inputs to your visuals. So
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of options as far as visualizations in the platform. So let's see. I understand that you can read Snowflake data and analyze it. Can you also write your results back to Snowflake?
Oh yeah, of course. Any Snowflake SQL statement that runs on Snowflake should run as well in our interpreter. We just pass commands back and forth to your Snowflake instance. So DDL, DML, whatever SQL expressions you think are appropriate, you can run.
Okay, let's see. Another one here. You mentioned likes to trends, but it was personal intuition. Did the tool do any analytics to support it?
Great question. So this is about the demo that we just gave. Totally right on the money. We simply just looked at a simple correlation, but we didn't really prove any causation, and we didn't really go down the rabbit hole to show the statistical significance of this analysis. And we actually find that this kind of conversation is one of the biggest friction points that teams have with their managers right now in how they're delivering results. This time around, in less than 10 minutes, we were able to get to some intuition that provided some finding. Maybe a further analysis would have taken hours. This was a nice little checkpoint to show our thinking so far to our manager and get feedback about if this was worth investing in a little bit further. So definitely, if we wanted to do a little bit more statistically significant stuff, I might have pulled in things like pandas or NumPy to start really proving the statistical significance of the qualitative trend that we noted. I think the point we were trying to make was that just doing quick visualizations can often yield really intuitive data understanding that isn't easy to do in a SQL kind of environment.
All right. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. Those are some good questions we got. Don't forget to go and try Zepl for free. You can just go to www.zepl.com. There's a link there to sign up for a free account and try us out.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions, also don't hesitate to reach out.